I've always been a fan of horror stories, but I never thought I would find myself living one. It was a dark and stormy night when I decided to embark on a road trip to visit my family. The rain was pouring heavily, and the wind howled like a pack of wolves. Little did I know that this drive would turn into a nightmare I would never forget. As I got into my car, the atmosphere felt eerie. The raindrops pelted against the windshield, creating a distorted view of the road ahead. The only source of light was the dim glow of my headlights, barely piercing through the thick curtain of rain. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, trying to shake off the uneasiness that had settled in my gut. The road stretched out before me, seemingly endless. The sound of the rain hitting the roof of my car was deafening, drowning out any other noise. The only thing I could hear was the rhythmic thumping of my own heartbeat. I tried to distract myself by turning on the radio, but all I could find was static. It felt as if the world had been swallowed by darkness, leaving me alone in this desolate stretch of road. As I continued driving, the rain seemed to intensify, making it harder to see. I squinted my eyes, desperately trying to make out any landmarks or signs. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distance. It was a hitchhiker, drenched from head to toe, standing by the side of the road. Against my better judgment, I decided to stop and offer them a ride. The hitchhiker climbed into the back seat without saying a word. I couldn't see their face clearly, but something about their presence sent shivers down my spine. I tried to strike up a conversation, but they remained silent, their gaze fixed on the road ahead. The atmosphere inside the car grew colder, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. As we drove on, the rain started to subside, and the darkness seemed to lift slightly. I glanced at the rearview mirror, hoping to catch a glimpse of the hitchhiker's face, but they were nowhere to be seen. Panic surged through my veins as I realized that they had vanished without a trace. I pulled over, my heart pounding in my chest, and searched the back seat, but there was no sign of the hitchhiker. Feeling a sense of dread, I decided to continue driving, hoping to put this strange encounter behind me. But as I pressed on, the road became increasingly unfamiliar. The once familiar landmarks had disappeared, replaced by a dense forest that seemed to close in around me. The trees loomed like towering giants, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. My headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the road. I could swear I saw movement in the corner of my eye, shapes darting between the trees. The air grew heavy with an otherworldly presence, and I could feel eyes watching me from the darkness. Fear gripped me, and I knew I had to find my way out of this nightmare. I tried to turn around, but the road seemed to stretch on forever, leading me deeper into the heart of the forest. Panic consumed me as I realized I was trapped, a mere pawn in a sinister game. The forest seemed to come alive, whispering secrets and taunting me with its twisted branches. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, a blinding light appeared in the distance. Relief washed over me as I realized it was another car approaching. I waved frantically, hoping for salvation. But as the car drew closer, I saw the hitchhiker sitting in the passenger seat, their face contorted into a sinister grin. Terrified, I slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The car collided with mine, sending me spiraling into darkness. When I regained consciousness, I found myself lying on the forest floor, surrounded by the wreckage of my car. The rain had stopped, and the moon cast an eerie glow on the scene. I stumbled through the forest, desperate to find help. But no matter how far I walked, the forest seemed to stretch on endlessly. The trees whispered in a language I couldn't understand, their voices growing louder with each step. I was trapped in a nightmare, a never-ending loop of darkness and despair. To this day, I remain lost in that forest, haunted by the memories of that fateful night drive. The hitchhiker's face still haunts my dreams, a constant reminder of the horrors I encountered. I've come to accept that I may never escape this nightmare, doomed to wander the forest for eternity. So if you ever find yourself driving alone at night, beware. The darkness holds secrets that can consume you, and the road can lead you to places you never thought possible. Trust your instincts and never pick up a hitchhiker, for you may find yourself trapped in a nightmare from which there is no escape.